We are continuing a chat midway, but let me tell you that there's a reason I'm not going to remove that part of the chat because it was so heartfelt. जो हमने उस दिन किया कि अभी वो same सवाल पूछूंगा ना तो I feel like it will not do justice because I've gone back and
it'll be choreographed.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like, and you wouldn't like it because you're a very real and honest person. She had a emergency last day where her dog was not feeling well.
Yeah.
And she had to rush, but we'll continue our conversation from there. And this is the first time ever that an interview has happened with an interval.
Yeah.
So, बताइए आज, how are you feeling right now?
Now I'm feeling a lot relaxed in comparison to how I was feeling then because I feel like Daku, which is my British bulldog, is not an easy dog to have. And I feel like it's been challenging raising him, but the dog, he's so full of love and every minute with him is just totally worth it. So it was one of those days when he wasn't feeling well and he was bleeding and I told you the house was literally looking like a murder scene. Like it was like blood all over the floor, and I was somewhere else. But now that he's completely fine, I'm in a touch wood. I'm in a much better space.
Fab.
Yeah.
So we'll start off with what you were talking about, which was about your middle class upbringing. और अच्छी बात ये है कि उस दिन के बीच में और आज के बीच में I saw this episode where your mother came on MasterChef, and there was this part where, you know, kudos to her for raising both of you so well. And उस दिन हम लोग बात कर रहे थे कि मम्मी पापा हमारे इतने sacrifices करते हैं ताकि हमारी life अच्छी रहे, right?
Right.
Your mom has actually done many odd jobs to raise you both.
Yeah.
How do you look back at her journey? You know, we talk about middle class parenting, but sometimes we forget to talk about the parents themselves, right?
Yeah.
But she's been one of the biggest idols of your life. She said that she's done so many odd jobs.
Yeah.
How old were you when all of this was happening?
Oh, I was very young. I was I think 5 or 6 years old. Till I was, I think, 10 years old. But it was challenging, and I felt like for some time the fact that my dad was working was enough. But then my mom realized that extra income wasn't going to hurt anyone, right?
Yeah.
And it would only give me and my brother a better lifestyle. So that's when she started doing different kinds of things. She started selling LIC policies or like selling these Tupperware things, and started getting a few extra money at home. And yeah, I mean, there are a lot of times when I tell even Karan, you know, that even if I end up being like 10% of what my mom is to my kids, I would be a brilliant mother.
You know, जिंदगी में ना जब आप ऐसे देख के बड़े होते हो तो आप में एक चीज की वैल्यू बहुत होती है कि हर चीज की वैल्यू होती है कि जो मिल भी रहा है today you have so much but you value everything, right?
Absolutely.
And also the best thing is you don't feel that any job is really small.
Yes, agreed.
And that has happened to you. Would you agree that happened to you because of what you saw your mother do for you and your brother and for the family actually? Would you agree that kind of value came from your mom?
Valuing everything?
Valuing everything, and
you
know, बहुत लोगों के लिए कोई भी मेरे मम्मी पापा बोलते कोई काम छोटा नहीं होता.
Of course,
right?
100%.
So that kind of thing कि there's nothing wrong in what anybody is doing, but eventually they've done so much to actually bring you both up.
Yeah, see, I completely agree that कोई भी काम छोटा नहीं होता है. I honestly have a lot more respect, to be honest, for people who are, if not actors or not us, or you know, people who are actually behind the camera. They put in a lot of work while we're just sitting here and like talking to each other. They're making sure everything's working fine.
Yeah.
So I feel like had it not been for them or people agreeing to do things that we don't do or we can't do, we would not be us.
That's true.
So it's only people who do these other things that make us, and I'm so thankful to them. And of course, I totally believe that कोई भी काम छोटा नहीं होता. And today, if I am at a better, happier place in life, it's because it's not come easy. I value it a lot more. And because when we started, and my dad used to work in Saudi, and we were doing very well. And then there was a phase when we weren't. So it wasn't that we started off small. We started off well, and then we had a downfall. And then I started working, and then it got better. So we've seen a downfall before also. So there is a certain realization that I have, that is that just because I have it today doesn't mean I'll have it tomorrow.
Yeah, that's why you value it.
That's why I value it, I cherish it, and I preserve it really well.
जब आप इतने छोटे हो, जैसे आपने बोला कि एक डाउनफॉल था, तो क्या आपको समझ आता था? बिकॉज देयर वाज अ पॉइंट वेयर आपने गाड़ी मांगी थी, और उन्होंने दे गॉट यू, she actually sold her jewelry to get you,
she kept it on गिरवी. Yeah.
तो आपको पता था?
तला भुना स्पाइसी नहीं खाते, बट फिर भी एसिडिटी और ब्लोटिंग रहती है, और इस सब से छुटकारा पाने के लिए आप दवाइयां और एंटासिड्स का सहारा लेते हैं। उस पल के लिए तो आपको रिलीफ मिल जाएगा, बट हर वक्त एसिडिटी, ब्लोटिंग, थकान, एंजाइटी होना, ये सब आपकी बॉडी के सिग्नल्स हैं कि कुछ गलत हो रहा है। आपकी हेल्थ प्रॉब्लम्स परमानेंट नहीं है, बस आप क्या कर रहे हैं, इन्हें गलत तरीकों से सॉल्व करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। अगर आप अपनी बीमारियों के रूट कॉज को टारगेट करना चाहते हैं और नेचुरल तरीके से कंट्रोल करना चाहते हैं, वो भी दवाइयों और सप्लीमेंट्स के बिना, देन आई इनवाइट यू टू माय नेचुरल हीलिंग वर्कशॉप। नमस्कार, मेरा नाम विशाल सैनी है और मैं एक रजिस्टर्ड नेचुरोपैथ और एक फूड न्यूट्रिशनिस्ट हूँ। पिछले 12 सालों में मैंने करीब 20,000 से ज्यादा लोगों को दवाई मुक्त और स्वस्थ जीवन जीने में मदद की है। इस 3 घंटे की वर्कशॉप में आप एक पावरफुल सिस्टम सीखेंगे जो आपको अपने हेल्थ इश्यूज नेचुरली कंट्रोल करने, बॉडी को डिटॉक्सिफाई करने और एनर्जी लेवल्स को बूस्ट करने में मदद करेगा, वो भी सिर्फ 47 रुपीज में। आजकल एक दवाई का पत्ता भी नहीं आता जितने में ये वैल्यू पैक्ड सेशन आपको मिलेगा। अगर आप हॉस्पिटल के चक्कर से थक चुके हैं तो नीचे दिए गए लिंक पर क्लिक करें और आज ही रजिस्टर करें।
ऐसे आपको मजाक लगता होगा कि 3 दिन में ज्योतिष नहीं सीखा जा सकता। मैं 3 दिन में कुंडली देखना सिखाता हूं। मैं 3 दिन में लग्न कुंडली ही नहीं बल्कि मैं केपी कुंडली भी देखना सिखाता हूं। पहला दिन मैं शुरू ही करता हूं 9 ग्रहों से। जितने भी क्लास मैं सिखाता हूं वो सारे के सारे स्टोरी बेस्ड होते हैं, राजा रानी सेनापति की तरह। तो सबसे पहले मैं प्लैनेट्स के बारे में बताता हूँ। सेकंड पॉइंट पे मैं आता हूँ 12 राशियों के बारे में, वो सारे स्टोरी वाइज होते हैं। इसके बाद मैं लेके चलता हूँ लग्न कुंडली कैसे 12th हाउस में कैसे कैसे प्लेसमेंट होती है। तो 12 घर, 12 राशि और 9 ग्रहों के बारे में जब पहला दिन बताता हूँ, उनको लग्न कुंडली देखने के लिए बताता हूँ। हाउस कौन सा होता है, राशि कौन सा होता है, कौन सी राशि है किसकी, पहले दिन में सीखता। सेकंड डे की बात आती है। सेकंड डे मैं उनको एक फॉर्मूला है, आपने भी पढ़ा होगा, प्लस माइनस माइनस होता है और माइनस माइनस प्लस होता है। यानी कि बैड प्लैनेट इन गुड हाउस गिव बैड रिजल्ट, गुड प्लैनेट इन बैड हाउस गिव बैड रिजल्ट एंड गुड प्लैनेट इन गुड हाउस गिव गुड रिजल्ट। तो जब ये फॉर्मूला जोड़ के मैं जब उनकी पूरी प्रेडिक्शन करना सिखाता हूँ, वो हैरान हो जाते हैं, अरे सर एस्ट्रोलॉजी इतना डिफिकल्ट था, एक ही बार में बता दिया कि कौन सा ग्रह किस घर में बैठे तो क्या रिजल्ट देता है। मैंने बोला यहाँ तक तो रुकिए। जब बात तीसरे दिन की आती है, मैंने उनको पहले दे ही फर्स्ट डे ही प्रॉमिस करता हूँ कि मैं आप सभी को जो मैं सिखाने वाला हूँ वो मैं कुंडली में एजुकेशन टॉपिक के बारे में खास करके कुंडली देख के परसेंटेज निकालना सिखा दूंगा, एजुकेशन के बारे में हर एक चीज सिखा दूंगा, क्योंकि एक दिन में इतना ही सिखाया जा सकता है। थर्ड डे। नमस्कार, मैं हूँ आचार्य पंकज। मैं पिछले 12 सालों से एस्ट्रोलॉजी के क्लासेस दे रहा हूँ। तो मैं आप सभी न्यूमरोलॉजिस्ट को इन्वाइट करता हूँ आने वाले 3 दिन के लाइव वर्कशॉप में, जहाँ पे हम लोग वैदिक एस्ट्रोलॉजी, केपी एस्ट्रोलॉजी और नाड़ी एस्ट्रोलॉजी को कंबाइंड करके सीखेंगे और फिल्टर आउट करेंगे कि कैसे हम फाइंड आउट कर सकते हैं कि कौन सा ग्रह किसके लिए अच्छा है और किसके लिए बुरा है। और उसी के हिसाब से मैं सिखाऊंगा आपको कैसे न्यूमरोलॉजी से कनेक्ट करके आप टॉप 1% न्यूमरोलॉजिस्ट में शामिल हो सकते हैं। तो फिर अभी के अभी रजिस्टर करें और फिर मिलते हैं आपके साथ वर्कशॉप में। नमस्कार।
ये सब हो रहा है या फिर समझ नहीं आती थी या फिर समझाते नहीं थे?
No, I think so. My mom had asked her friend, who was well-to-do, for money, and so that's when the friend had reacted something like, "Oh, I mean, she's just got like 85%. She's not got like 95 for her to deserve a car or whatever, right?" So like, I don't think I'm gonna help you, and I don't think you need to get her a car either, because it's not, the marks aren't worth a car. And so she was a little upset. So I knew all of the things that were happening. But all of a sudden, my mom, I remember like entering the house and she was saying, I booked the car, and I remember like seeing her hand and like not the bangles, because she always wears those bangles. I think her mom gave her those bangles or something. They're like very basic patla sone ka bangles only, but she always has those bangles. I'm like, where are those bangles? And I can't imagine. I actually realized it that second only. ऐसे नहीं कि थोड़े टाइम बाद मैंने देखा कि बैंगल नहीं, मैंने तभी देखा कि बैंगल नहीं है. That second, like, what ये का है? She's like, oh, I gave it. And then I was like, go and get it right now. And I just like threw a fit. And then I was like, we'll figure something out. So then we looked at like a cheaper car, and it was like a very cheap car, and it was second hand ऊपर से. Like a सस्ता गाड़ी भी था और उसका भी second hand version था. So ultimately it happened, and I bought my first car.
And then you got the bangles also.
Yes,
back.
yes.
Good.
Obviously.
But you started off really, really young.
Yeah.
Did you start off because of financial troubles also, or was it only because of the passion?
No.
Was
Starting was not because of passion or even financial struggle. Starting just happened only.
Kaise hua?
Like I was studying, and my friend had participated in a pageant which she'd won, and she was like, you have to participate next year. I'm 100% sure you're going to win. So I participated the next year and I won. And then like I had my picture all of the Times ka things, right? Because it was Times pageant. And then I got a call for an audition and I got selected. And it just happened.
Oh wow, I see.
So I wasn't like looking for something to like come out like to make a few extra bucks or like nothing. It just happened.
Oh,
or like I'm passionate about acting. Aisa bhi nahi tha. It just happened.
It's happened by accident.
Happened
but
by
thank
accident.
God.
But then now I'm
great
passionate about acting and money also.
Of course, it's very important. So uske turant baad,
Yeah.
how did you plan life? Like after the pageant?
Nothing. I just started working. Like I would just turn up to the set every day. I would really learn and I would really try to act. It was my first time ever on a set. I didn't know anything about acting. I had no plans of acting. I had Siddharth Singh Gupta who as my first director, who's just massive, and he taught me very well.
Mila? Like from the pageant or?
Yeah, they called me and then I auditioned and I got the show.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. So nothing, it was just an entire learning process, and I was like, now that I have it, I have to kill it. I have to do a good job. I have to because I mean while learning, I realized I started falling in love with acting. And I started realizing, oh, this is actually what I want to do in life, and I absolutely enjoy doing this.
Yeah.
So then I just continued it.
But how would you define failure and success today? After so many years, you started young, you've seen success, you know what failure is also about, because our upbringing is such, जैसे आपने बोला कि कभी भी कुछ भी हो सकता है, and you are very, very present of that. How would you define success and failure today?
I've been asked this question a lot lately, and I feel like in terms of success, it's very subjective. It's very subjective. Like today, if you're saying that you're doing this independently, and that you don't have to look for somebody to continue what you do, you can actually quit and do your own thing.
Yeah.
That independence is success in itself, right?
Thank you. Yeah.
So that's very subjective from person to person. So for me, it's the same thing. Like if today I can stand up and say no to a few projects and take my time off and like decide to only do what I want to do and still be able to take care of myself in the meantime, is pretty much success.
That's
to be
true.
able to say no to things without worrying about the consequences, because most of the times us is like you said about us coming from a middle class family, no?
Absolutely.
We have to think twice. We have to think 10 times before like saying no to work. It's very tough, but the fact that we've reached to a stage where we can is a big deal in itself.
Yeah.
Because success is very subjective, and I say it should be calculated on the basis of where you start from.
Yeah, but you know, Teju, you just don't work for money. You work also for money, but you also work because you really like doing what you're doing.
I'm in love with acting. Yeah.
But when there are days as a creative person, जब होता है कि हर दिन तो शूट नहीं होता, कभी-कभी ऐसा भी होता है आर्टिस्ट की जिंदगी में कि 4 महीना हर रोज काम किया, 20-20 घंटे भी काम किया और फिर 4 महीने कुछ भी काम नहीं है. How do you deal with those days? Does that annoy you? Not financially. I'm talking about like not as a creative person. Does it annoy you? Like there are times this last month, 2 weeks May, like March May, 2 weeks I didn't have anything to shoot. It was not about the money. It was about just not doing
just wanting
anything.
to go on the set.
Like, what am I doing with my life? Does that ever happen? Has that ever happened to you?
Of course, it's a drug. Like it's addictive. Like going to the set and working and like just listening to sound, rolling, action, take. Like but there are times that you don't have an option and you don't have work and you don't work all the days of a year or all the months of a year, and that really happens to the biggest actors, let me tell you that. Just because I'm not into films doesn't mean that film actors don't really go through it. They also go through it. I think we all go through it. And what I did in my last gap before MasterChef, when I had a gap after Nagin where I wasn't working, that's what I did is like I started doing workshops, and I went to Pondicherry and did Adi Shakti, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that is brilliant. That's brilliant. So that was my way.
Also centers you.
Yes, of feeling centered. It was my way of keeping in touch with the thing I love doing the most, which is acting. Learning different forms of doing it, falling in love with it all over again, and not missing it anymore, because all I want to just keep doing is perform and just keep doing these scenes with different people, and like even if it's not in front of the camera, at least on stage, but like just keep doing it. And that's exactly what I did there, and that's my way of keeping in touch with acting.